Grand Rising. Happy Tuesday. I pray everybody's having a positive, productive start to your day today. If not, I pray that your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, and of course the Most High help you with that today. I also pray that He clothes us in His armor from head to toe, that He strengthens our discernment and guides our steps as we go throughout this day. That being said, I'm here with the daily devotion from Sarah Young's Jesus Calling for October 15th, 2024. And forgive me in advance. I have the sniffles this morning. I have my hanky, so I'm ready to go. Try to stay conscious of me as you go step by step through this day. My presence with you is both a promise and a protection. After my resurrection, I assured my followers, surely I am with you always. That promise was for all of my followers, without exemption. The promise of my presence is a powerful protection. As you journey through your life, there are numerous pitfalls along the way. Many voices clamor for your attention, enticing you to go their way. Boy, isn't that the truth? A few steps away from your true path are pits of self-pity and despair, plateaus of pride and self-will. If you take your eyes off me and follow another's way, you are in grave danger. Even well-meaning friends can lead you astray if you let them usurp my place in your life. The way to stay on the path of life is to keep your focus on me. Awareness of my presence is your best protection. She references Matthew chapter 28, verse 20, and Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. Boy, I got choked up just reading the daily devotional. It's the truth. It is within us. It is not an outside source. That love, that protection, that presence, that comfort, that foundation. It just takes us going through a lot of pitfalls and jumping over a bunch of hurdles to realize that, to truly realize that. And even once you realize it, it's not easy to pursue because we're so surrounded. There's a gnat in here. I know, it's monitoring spirits. It's a battle. The mind is a battlefield. The heart is a battlefield. It's a battle over good and evil. The good and evil are inside of you. We all have a dark side and a light side. We all have things that we've done or said that we're not proud of. If we're growing, if you're stuck in that dark, toxic energy, then of course it's not going to hit you the same. And it's so easy, especially when it's somebody you love. I've said for years that churches don't preach about the stuff that they need to be preaching about. And this is one of them. Even when it's somebody you love, your parent, your sibling, your spouse, they can sometimes they do it knowingly, but a lot of times they do it unknowingly. They drag you down that dark path, and it's because they never took the time to heal. They're walking in the dark instead of walking in the light. No, none of us are perfect. We never will be. We will always make mistakes, even if they're just little ones. And it's so easy to just follow in line, to be a follower. Oh, well, they did it, so it must be okay for me to do it. Well, this is how I feel, so it should be okay. It's all a test. And when I had the realization that the 7 deadly sins, which has absolutely nothing to do with religion, that's where people make the first mistake. Religion is like politics of the church. In politics, if you break down that word, poly is a group of, ticks is a blood-sucking parasite. So a group of blood-sucking parasites. I mean, come on. Anyways, 5:55 on the timer. Religion is just like politics of the church. It's not about religion. It's about relationship with yourself, because he is within you. That spirit, that energy is within you. So if you don't love yourself, you're not going to allow anybody else to love you, and you're not going to be able to love other people properly. And when I say properly, I mean for the right reasons. Loving somebody just because you feel like you have to love that person, that's not being true to who you are. That's not walking in light. That's manipulation. That's living a lie. That's wearing a mask. That was a really hard one for me to learn. But they're my parents. I'm supposed to love them. We're supposed to love everybody. But we have to learn that there's different kinds of love. Some people are harder to love than others. Some people will flip the script and try to tell you that you're the hard one to love. And maybe you are. Maybe there are parts of you that are hard to love. That's why it's so important to learn how to love people from a distance. Pray for them. Wish them well. Don't carry that bitterness and that vengeance around in your heart, because the only person you hurt with that is yourself. I walked through most of my life like that. And the sad part about it is the people that were causing me to feel that way were the people that I felt like I had to love. It was my family, my parents, my siblings. People that were supposed to love me and care about me and want what was best for me and point me in that right direction. You can't always count on that. That's not always there. That's not always an option. And it took me a long, I don't even remember when I realized that, there are people that have never set foot in a church. There are people that have never heard of what it is, what it's all about. But then when I actually stopped and thought about it, it was like, well, I grew up in the church. I had a preacher as a papaw. But the generations before us, they had it wrong. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So even those of us that did grow up in the church and had that knowledge, we were still doing it wrong. I'd like to think that I've always been a little bit more connected. I just didn't realize it. And that's why learning self is so important. The more you learn yourself, the more you will learn about that relationship. Because in the end, it's up to you to know how to listen to your body, to your heart, to your mind, to your gut, to your intuition, however you want to say it. But it's like, where do you start? There's so many rabbit holes. Which one do I pick? And man, I have experienced that dilemma in so many different areas in my life. Like picking a career. I never could. I'm constantly changing my mind. And even still, I'm like that, where there's so many things I want to learn and so many things I want to do and so many, things I want to understand and apply to my life. But at the same time, it's like you can only do so much at one time, you know? Like your mind can only be pulled in so many different directions until it rips. And I ain't trying to make my mind rip. Being burnout, busted, and just disgusted, I mean, it happens. And the only encouragement I know to give when it comes to that is just start. You know, like the first thing that pops into your head, just pull it up on your phone. And it's a rabbit hole. That one topic, if you just keep scrolling, it'll lead you to 20 other topics. You see a video on YouTube, you're interested in the topic that video 1111 on the timer. You're interested in the topic that video is talking about, Google it. No, you may not retain all of it, but it will spark that fire in your brain. And then the next time you see a video about it, you'll look it up again. It's about being repetitive. It's about being like having that desire. How bad do you want it? You know, and we all have 11:44 on the timer. We all have those areas in our life where it's like we want it, but, and we deal with that in different areas. Whether it's, eating a better diet and losing weight, or whether it's, doing an online course and expanding your, abilities, or, whatever it is. No, we can't do it all in one day. Boy, do I wish we could. Because when it comes to something like that, it's like the longer I do it, the more bored I get with it. And it's like, it took me a long time to realize that that's part of my autism, ADHD, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the timer, whatever you want to call it. That I start a bunch of things that I never finish. But it's not because I don't want to. It's because something new comes along and I want to start doing that. So it's about repetition. Yes, it gets boring, 12:55 on the timer. Yes, it gets boring doing the same thing all the time. But that's when you just have to get creative. Use the knowledge that's at your fingertips every day and apply. Like I've wanted to learn how to play the ukulele for years. I had one at one time, and then I let my emotions get the better of me because I wanted to learn how to play with my son, and then that ended up not happening, and so I ended up selling the ukulele and just moved on to something else. I have bukus of acrylic molds to make stuff out of. I've never even bought the acrylic to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily a bad thing. But, that's one of the reasons why I started this channel, was to have that accountability, to have that where it's not just me that's benefiting from it anymore. That is a very good encourager for me. That motivates me to get up and do. Just like my son. Even though he's not here with me, he's a lot of what keeps me going, because I don't want to give up. And then me seeing that helped me love myself better. Does that make sense? And then me becoming a parent helped me understand the relationship between the spirit realm and me. Just wanting to hear from your child. Have you ever felt that feeling before? You just wish they would call? Or your parent? Or your spouse? You just wish they would call? That's how the spirit realm feels. They just want us to call. Pick up the phone. And it's easier to do that than it is to talk to people here in this world. 14:55. I'm almost out of time. Sorry, it was kind of a emotional one this morning, but it's important to me. And I just want to share it with you. As always, be grateful for what you have, the big, the small, and the blessings yet to come. If you see a need out there today, tomorrow, next week, if there's any possible way that you can fill that need, please do so. You may not only better their day, but you could possibly change their life, and you never know the impact it can have on yours. Be blessed, find peace, and I'll see you next time.